A very warm welcome to you, dear students, once again to the history class. In the last chapter, we have learned how society changed due to the effects of the French Revolution. You all know that a revolution is a change. It can be a political change, a social change, or a change in the economic sphere. Now, we will move on to the second topic in history, socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. In this chapter, we will begin with Unit 1, the age of a social change. You all know that in the French Revolution, we spoke about freedom and equality. Before France could get freedom and equality, the social and economic power in France was controlled by the aristocracy and the church. Aristocracy means the nobles or the people of the noble families, and the church means the priest and all the other religious. Soon after the French Revolution, ideas about individual rights and who controlled social power began to be discussed. When people realized that they can put an end to the rule of the king, they began thinking about having power in their own hands. Even in countries like India, Rajaram Mohan Roy and Derizio spoke about the French Revolution in how it could take place and in India. Soon after the French Revolution, in Europe there were three groups that came up. One was the conservative group, the second was the liberal group, and the third was the radical group. The ideas of all these three groups differed from each other. These three groups came up in Europe at this time. Let us now talk about the liberals. The liberals wanted a nation that tolerated all religions. Tolerated all religions means they would accept people of any religion and they would allow people to practice their own religion. They opposed dynastic rulers. Dynastic rulers means they opposed the rule of the king. They wanted a representative, elected parliamentary form of government like the type we have today in India. They also wanted that laws should be introduced by a well-trained judiciary. That means the laws that are implemented in the country should come from a judiciary. One of the drawbacks of this liberal group was that they did not practice universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise means they didn't give all adults the right to vote. They only gave men who had property the right to vote. Women were not allowed to vote at all. Now let us move on to see who the radicals were. The radicals wanted a government that was based on the majority of country's population. They thought that whomever the people of the country want, that kind of a government would be tolerated in the nation. Radicals felt that women should be given the right to vote. They were against the rich being given special privileges means that they did not like the rich people being given special treatment. They were not against the idea of people owning private property, but they were against the idea of property being in the hands of a few people. They felt that properties should be equally divided among all the people. Let us move on now to see who the conservatives were. The conservatives were a form of people who were different from the liberals and the radicals. They had opened their minds to a change. They felt that a change must take place in society, but the past had to be preserved. They felt that everything in society shouldn't be wiped off. Some things that are good should be preserved. They believed in a change, but the change had to be brought about through a slow process. The views of all three groups clashed regarding the social change.